it is a bit of a blow to Russian prestige and also possibly to their supply lines. Kerch Bridge is an extraordinary creation of President Putin that he built after annexing the Crimea in 2014. He immediately put out a tender to build a bridge to connect Crimea directly to the Russian mainland over the Sea of Azov. It's about 12 miles long. It's the longest bridge in Europe. And of course, it meant then that Russian troops and people could get directly from Russia to Crimea without going through Ukraine. So this is still one of the main supply lines for Russian forces, but also used by Russian families to go on holiday in Crimea, which has always been a favourite holiday spot for them. So that's why it's so significant, and it is a bit of a blow to Russian prestige and also possibly to their supply lines. Certainly the Ukrainian media are sort of citing security sources saying it was Ukraine. It appears to have been done by two seaborne drones. I've actually just been in the vicinity of Bakhmut at the end of last week, and was writing about it in the paper at the weekend. The Ukrainians aren't trying to attack Bakhmut, which is now pretty much destroyed and still has plenty of cover for Russian troops. They're trying to get that whole of that southern flank, and that will allow them to control the access for Russian troops in and out of the city, and they hope that they will then be able to force the Russians to withdraw. I think they said they'd claimed around 7 square kilometers, which is not a huge patch of territory, but it is, as the Ukrainians say, that's a faster rate of progress than the Russians made in the year it took them to capture the city in the first place. In a geopolitical sense, the grain deal, as you say, is symbolic of stuff that's even beyond the Ukraine war. It was negotiated between Russia and Ukraine, but with the mediation of President Erdogan of Turkey, who has successfully in the last few years portrayed himself as an honest broker between the West and Russia. And it looks as if President Putin has just cottoned on, decided that he was being played for a mug by Erdogan. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's pulled out of this grain deal that was, as you say, providing a bit of a lifeline to African states in particular, who were complaining about the pretty massive hike in grain prices on the international markets after the war. 10% of all international trade of grain is Ukrainian. So that's pretty big. When there was the blockade of Ukrainian ports by Russia, that was a pretty big hit to world food supplies. The grain deal, helped that and helped prices come down. Now we'll have to see what happens.